Hello, Principles of Elementary Education 232. Welcome back from your extended spring break. This is Professor Johnson recording in my daughter's back bedroom, trying to escape the background noise of rock band happening in the living room. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but I just wanted to quickly talk about the topic for this week. If you remember from the first, kind of where we left off last semester, we are talking about teaching thinking skills. We talked about association. If you remember, we were comparing and classifying and making analogies. This week, we are talking about synthesis. How do we help our students to synthesize information? This is a thinking skill. We want them to practice that. So investigating and constructing an argument are excellent ways to help students synthesize information. And so that's where we're at this week. Synthesis. Just some quick notes. I don't need to read this to you. You can look back at it. You should be reading about this. I believe it's chapter 4 in our I-5 book. Please make sure you read that because that is a great book with some good information in it. But talking about information, or excuse me, investigation, what we want our students doing is researching, gathering information, making sure they understand the difference between valid information and good valid sources versus fake news kind of sources. Not just getting their information from YouTube, but actually gathering and organizing information. But the critical thinking part doesn't come during the research. That really comes once they begin to interpret what they've gathered. Once they've got all this information, we want them to generate a new explanation for it in their own words. We want them to ask more questions about that information. Now that you're learning about it, does this prompt anything in your mind that you want to know more about, or you don't understand, or why is it this way? You want them to ask those kinds of questions and begin to formulate their own authentic conclusion, to create their own opinion of this topic so that they gain a deeper understanding with it. So that is what we're talking about. How do you help your students construct an argument? You're researching. You want them to have some way to describe the topic, the event, the issue, whether that's a paper, whether it's an actual debate you hold in the classroom, or an artifact that they're creating. But you want them to describe it, to form an opinion, state a claim in support of or against, pro or con. Make sure that they're not just making up an opinion based off of the top of their head. They must support their opinion with some evidence and then elaborate about that. And hopefully summarize in their own words again and generate new insight about this event or issue. So this week, your turn. You are going to work together. You're going to collaborate because I don't want to lose our sense of community together, even though we're learning online. So I've created a Padlet, and each of you will log into this Padlet. You should be able to just follow the link from Moodle or from this PowerPoint, and you'll find 4 columns on that Padlet. First, you're going to read through a couple research articles. They're short, they're not too bad, and get a little background knowledge. Our topic that we're going to construct an argument on is recess. Should schools enforce recess? There are actually schools who say no, we shouldn't have recess. We have too much to learn. So I've created this Padlet. This is what it looks like, the case for recess. You can see we have a pros column, cons, and I want each of you to post in each of the columns if you can. So each of you is going to click this plus button. You're going to create your own little post here with one valid pro reason for why we need recess. So if each of you posts your own pro, we should develop a nice long list of pros for why we need recess. And then the same thing over here for cons. We may run out of things for cons, but you can reiterate something that somebody else says in your own words, and that would be fine. Are there disadvantages to having recess? You should find some in the articles this week. Then in this column, I want you to state your claim. What is your personal opinion on this topic? And you must provide some support for why this is your opinion. You think this way, you're in favor of recess because, and give some support. And then I just kind of made a fun column. Share a fun or crazy memory or something that you hated about PE or gym or recess when you were a student. And I know not all of you were in school, so if you didn't go to recess, was there some type of physical activity that you did to make sure you stayed active? Feel free to share there. That's just kind of a fun column. So this is what the Padlet looks like. You just hit the plus button, you type in, there, and then each of you should check back in a couple days later to kind of see what everybody's written in here. I think that would be kind of fun for you. If you make a mistake, there's a little trash can here you can delete. You can attach photos. If you find a really great chart or a graph or a statistics or something, you can actually attach things. You can put links. You can Google and search things. What else can we do here? You might actually be able to record your voice in the box. Somebody should try that. So there are a lot of things you can do. This is called a Padlet. Sometimes people call it a back channel, but we're going to use this tool. So when we go look at Moodle, let's take a look at Moodle. I will have all this information in Moodle for you, updated with the Padlet link, the PowerPoint, reading chapter 4 in your I-5 text. That is what we are doing this first week. All right, we're going to see how that plays out. And I think next week we'll be doing chapter 5, the topic of analysis. And I'm going to make some changes to the Ed Theorist assignment, and I will put that in Moodle. I think we'll just do a scaled down version and do them individually instead of in a group. So if you have any questions, please email me, reach out to me. I am here for you this rest of this semester. We are in this together. All right, I miss you all already. We may have to do a little Zoom to catch up with each other at some point. But that is all. Talk to you soon.